Hello and welcome to game number 5 of today. We are watching the RedBull Esports Champions League 2013. We are in the group stages and TongFu will take on RisingStars to see who gets the point that is up for grabs between the two. Of course, each group has got 6 teams. Yes, each group again, because DK first they dropped out, then they went back in, just having a bit of a shuffle with the team, the dates that the teams are playing. But 6 teams per group. Each group has got each team facing each other once, so best of ones only. And we are in the second game of Group B. We had already 3 games of Group A. There are a total of 10 games scheduled for today. However, as you might have noticed, we are running on quite a bit of delay already, so we might not have all 10 today, but we don't know yet what's up with that and how things will get scheduled out. Of course, this is a Beyond the Summit presentation, and with me is Wickermond, who will be my co-caster for today until he has to go, because of course, I mean, delays make for you know, real life clashes. That's normally how it goes. But yeah, TongFu RisingStars. What's your opinion on this matchup?
I'm just here to tick people's careers up. I'm not here for any other broader purpose.
Hey, I do that now too.
Nice.
Yes.
Well then, there's no purpose to me being here at all. AFK. No, I think this is an interesting matchup. I would say, frankly, this is not a must-win for RisingStars, but they would love to win this if they hope to advance out of this group. It's only 4 teams out of the group that can advance. RisingStars has difficult games against TongFu, LGD International, Rattlesnake, and DK. I doubt they can take DK. TongFu also probably a very, very big obstacle, but if they can win 2 or 3 of their early games, they'll be in decent shape. They've already done some interesting banning. The Naga first ban is quite unusual. I would personally think that maybe a Gyrocopter ban would have been more appropriate, just because TongFu has an excellent record with Gyrocopter. TongFu, meanwhile, they banned the IO. This is not a atypical choice for Dota in general, but it is somewhat atypical for a game between 2 Chinese teams. But as we mentioned in the previous game, RisingStars plays IO much more than almost any other Chinese team does. So I think the ban choices are all justifiable. The only one that surprises me is the Naga Siren, because it means that it leaves up one of TongFu's favorite carries, the Gyrocopter, which they are happy to secure first.
Yeah, RisingStars managed to select themselves an Alchemist, and perhaps they get a Darkseer with that as well, as he's also one of those high priority picks lately. But I think TongFu is going to be pretty happy with the result of their game, where they of course have second pick, maybe of course slightly in your draft, a bit less comfortable with what you pick up first. But yeah, as you said, gotta be really happy with that. RisingStars taking into their bonus time to decide what they want to do next. Of course, we are having another banning phase afterwards, so this is a very important pick. Which one does RisingStars want to pick up without, you know, revealing too much of what they want to do? And of course, you want to pick something up that you otherwise would maybe see banned and you still want to have it. Do you want to pick up a support just like TongFu did, like a Shadow Demon, for example, set up together with the Alchemist? They go for still a bit of a setup in a way, but they pick up the OD. Interesting choice here, but also a hero that we've seen quite a lot of today. Also, of course, in terms of bans.
I like the OD. I'm not sure that Shadow Demon this early would be a worthy pick. If they wanted a support, it would have to be sort of a support that's more likely to get banned than Shadow Demon is. He's just not that great against Gyrocopter, is kind of what it comes down to. He dies very easily, and disruption, creating Gyrocopter illusions is kind of a non-starter. I do like the OD pick. It means it's good for your laning. Obviously, OD is a hero that loses lane to very, very, very few heroes. So they can put that in the middle, threaten the potential of a Treant as well that TongFu may feel like they have to ban. And I like the OD. I like TongFu's lineup. I think both teams are in pretty good shape. One thing that I'm really interested in is the off lane, because RisingStars have banned Darkseer, which is actually XTT's best hero. He's also very good on offlane Batrider, actually. So 2 heroes that XTT likes to play are gone. I want to see what he ends up playing. I also want to see what KingJ ends up playing. I feel like offlane is a very difficult position. It's a position in flux in the current metagame. People are moving back to much more safe lane tri-lanes facing up against each other rather than really frequent aggressive tri-lanes. And this means that the offlaner has trouble getting farm, and the current hero pool for the offlane, it's just a little narrow and a little weird. I know KingJ recently has struggled to generate a lot of plays from the off lane. Like we've seen him play Windrunner and even off Magnus, and just hasn't been easy for him to actually generate a lot of opportunities for his team. Good in the drafting stage, but he's struggled in the in-game.
Yeah, we see, because of the thing that you mentioned, I mean, we see more Windrunners lately, Beastmasters even, and even Earthshakers on offlanes have happened more. We still, of course, have the Clockwork in the pool, but secretly, I am hoping for a Moo Clockwork solo mid. I mean, that's going to be something that I would like to see. But just still in the pool, strong hero. And also, Clockwork up against an OD, actually okay-ish. I say ish because, I mean, which hero is really good against OD? Not really any. But at least he'll be able to stay alive and get himself some levels, and he should be able to get some farm as well. But yeah, TongFu, taking their time to think about what they're banning out next. And yeah, in terms of off lanes, not really that much left, and maybe because of that we're gonna see an aggressive tri lane maybe picked up by one of the two, and then just run a bit more of a semi-carry line, semi-carry hero in the safe lane, much like a Weaver, for example, who could do that and who could take up that role.
Yeah, that's Weaver for whom? Sorry,
either team actually.
I feel like for RisingStars that would be a little too much hard farming heroes. They would get punished very heavily by TongFu, a team that, honestly, of all the Chinese teams, I think TongFu play the most like a Western team. They are fairly aggressive. Hao and Mu, in particular, are just a very aggressive carry and a very aggressive mid, especially for Chinese. Hao has been compared by some people to sort of the Eastern Hvost in some respects, just for how aggressively he plays, especially on this gyrocopter. So,
sorry.
yes. It's
I had to say it once. I'll not say it again because it's a very easy one.
Yeah, that's true. So I just feel that if RisingStars try to go for sort of a off-lane, the 3 that requires farm, they're going to get punished very heavily by TongFu, especially now that they have this Enchantress who, even from level 1, can be hyper-aggressive and try to get kills.
Yeah, I would really much like I'm talking about, I would like to see a Moo Clockwork, if I had my way, right? And I already know that it's probably not going to happen, but I would like to see Gyrocopter just played by King J because he can, and then run that aggressive, and then Moo Clockwork solo mid, and then Hao on the Queen of Pain safe lane, and then Enchantress and the aggressive jungle. That would be my ideal lineup for TongFu, but that's purely because I want to see those players play those heroes. I actually think it might even work out. Enchantress on an aggressive tri lane in the jungle could definitely do some damage, especially up against an Alchemist who, I mean, disable with, of course, his unstable concoction, and now he has got some supports that actually are a bit more defensive coming out as well, but they would at least be able to stop the Alchemist from going down. And they actually pick up a lifestealer here for TongFu, so perhaps we are going to see an aggressive tri lane, and then with either Gyrocopter or a lifestealer in that safe lane.
Yeah, this is an interesting choice. Enchantress is more typically aggressive tri-laned on Radiant, simply because the positioning of the Dire Creep camps is a little bit more favorable to you ganking. But it is certainly possible for TongFu. The other thing is, Shiver, I actually think it's a little more likely that they run Lifestealer mid. Lifestealer is one of the heroes that does the best against Outworld Devourer mid, simply because he doesn't care how low his intellect is. It's almost completely irrelevant to him. He can get some health back just by getting like a rank of Feast, and he'll always have enough mana to... he'll usually have enough mana to rage, at least early, if they try to gank him. So I suspect it's going to be mid Lifestealer and a tri-lane involving Gyrocopter. I'm not 100% sure, and they could still change the draft in the last stage.
Yeah, we're soon gonna find out what RisingStars is expecting of that Lifestealer, of course, with their last ban. Which role are they gonna be banning out? They picked themselves up a Windrunner, we mentioned her, of course, I mean, with less possibilities for the offlane. You'll go back to the sturdy ones or to the traditional one, and Windrunner definitely a traditional one. As we see, and with the Nyx Assassin, maybe Windrunners, like, I've seen it mostly in the Western scene though. Is Windrunner actually played as a support in the Eastern scene at all?
I haven't seen her in the support role that much, and the hero pool for offlaners is so limited now that I feel like Windrunner is almost re-entering as a default, because, hey, Windrunner is a hero that we can put in the offlane and can always generate opportunities. I would expect her not to be used as a support here. It's not impossible, but it's not something I've seen RisingStars do.
No, we've got
okay, so they go with Puck. Okay.
So that's gonna be the mid hero. Puck is an
Well,
okay hero. He won't die, but he's not. It's like, what's good against an OD? Like, nothing's particularly well, right? It's all
yeah,
like,
but keep in mind,
best.
They could also run Puck solo safe against whoever ends up being like Windrunner, and run the Lifestealer against the OD.
True.
So I would say it's not necessarily settled that Puck will be mid, but that is, I agree, that's definitely the default approach.
Yeah, we've got the Keeper of the Light as the last band for TongFu, so that is the secondary support band out. We still have got a lot of supports in the pool though, and I'm thinking even maybe Jakiro. We've seen him banned out a lot today. He still works out well together with the Nyx Assassin, follow up an Ice Path on that. Well, never mind that. I mean, I want to say I want to follow up an Ice Path on the Impale, but of course you can also follow a Light Strike Array on the Impale as well as the Astral Imprisonment. First time that we see Lina today, but does the same thing as a Jakiro or Leshrac would in any case. Just go for that secondary disable to follow up on whatever disable our RisingStars throws out first.
Even though Lina is a hero that's struggled to put up really good results since 6.78, I actually like it here, especially if your OD does well. The Essence Aura will allow her to not worry quite so much about her not fantastic mana pool. The more Dragon Slaves and the more Light Strike Arrays you can get out, the better. And it actually increases her as a priority for the other team to try to kill as well. The danger of Lina, of course, is if your OD doesn't have an amazing time, you're just going to get preyed upon by Puck as the game advances.
Yeah. And it's gonna all depend on that, well, I was gonna say mid lane, depending on if there's gonna be an aggressive tri-lane, because I see King J playing a Gyrocopter this game. So, aggressive tri-lane, definitely something that could be in the books. But let's see if they already find some early game aggression as they roam into the Radiant jungle. Actually going quite deep here. We've got XTD playing the Nyx Assassin this game, by the way. We'll see Zautuji playing the Alchemist. It's gonna be Super on the Lina. RisingStars XTT playing the Windrunner on the off lane. No surprise there. And Air this time on the OD in the middle lane. And I'll leave TongFu for you. Rhymes?
Yep. TongFu will be running King J in the Gyrocopter and as part of the aggressive tri-lane. That's as you mentioned. San Shang will be playing the Rubik. Ooh, they get a haste rune. This is actually pretty dangerous for our stars because Gyrocopter with a haste rune and Rocket Barrage is really, really dangerous. Banana fills out this tri-lane as the Enchantress. They've got a slow, they've got a haste rune. I really think they have a kill opportunity here. Quickly, just to follow up, How will be running mid Lifestealer to go up against OD, and that leaves Moo in the solo safe lane on Puck.
Oh my god, we were both a little bit right. How awesome.
Doesn't look like the haste rune finds anything, but they have placed... Check out this extremely aggressive ward from TongFu here. They clearly feel as though they will be able to try to get kills, especially with loops in by the Enchantress coming out of the jungle. And I think they're right to do so. If TongFu can put a lot of laning pressure on our stars, I don't really see any lanes that they're going to lose.
No, and I mean, even if this... Well, wait a second. No, it's fine. Even if this bottom lane for TongFu might not be all that aggressive, at some point Puck, he will have free farm and he'll try to, of course, make the lane still go in the way of TongFu. So, it's looking pretty good for them. It depends a lot on what Bandana gets her, though, in terms of creeps. Wow, English is hard, but, I mean, the amount of creeps that he gets is nice. He is an Enchantress. He gets more than a Chen would, but... Actually, the type of creep is even more important. Is he gonna get one of those trolls? An extra disable on the board? I mean, so far they only have got the telekinesis. I mean, the extra harassment that he gets thrown is nice with the satire, though.
I actually think for now having two Setter Tormentors is great. If you hit Lina with 2 shockwaves, she's oh yes, you can see he's trying to aim them. They have a good mana pool, although one of them is running out, but he'll be able to pick up a new creep. One thing I thought was kind of strange was Banana decided not to... Oh, right, he didn't see it, of course, because he just had an observer. But that's very good for our stars that they managed to take care of that aggressive ward. Yep. Look how deep TongFu are diving.
Yeah, I mean, we already see people inside the jungle without really, like, just looking. They're not really chasing. They're just looking for a kill, looking for someone to take down, someone out of position. And indeed, that Satire doing tons of damage already to Zautuji, who only has one... Tango left. Of course he still has that self, but that will be off now again as well. Only 2 times the shockwave left for the Satire. And King J gets a bit of a mana burn. I mean, that's gonna be good here on this lane. XTD will be able to at least prevent TongFu from committing all too hard, because you kinda need a Rocket Barrage with that extra damage.
You do. You do want to be able to use the Rocket Barrage, but still TongFu, I feel, are on the front foot in basically every lane. Xiaotuchi did manage to get 100 gold by picking off that Enchantress creep, and that's something they'll have to be careful about. They don't want to feed too many creeps into the maw of this Alchemist. But he's got a Dark Troll Summoner now, and I think this is going to make Banana feel very confident. Here they go. They're going to try to get the Ensnare, I think. Oh, maybe not. At least not for now. You can also just see Moo is muscling XTT away from the lane in the top. XTT just used South.
Yeah, and he's 9 for 2 on last hits. Not doing too bad, but I mean, he's not really doing anything worse to How. How is just sitting happily, still has a salve. Might have an empty bottle, but the courier is around there to fill it up again. Sitting on 13 to 3. In the meantime, Super finds himself Banana in the jungle. Night Strike Array already went. Looks like they might want to go in. Here comes Sunsheng. Telekinesis is going to be there. Here comes the net. Is there going to be another shockwave? There should be, and it might be enough. There it goes, and it is enough. It is the first blood going the way of the Enchantress. Satire Hellcallers MVP. Rocket Barrage up on XDD. Doesn't have his Spike Carapace stun. Still nice stun coming off from King J. The courier actually goes down though, and that's worth going down for. Gyrocopter trades his life for that one. Sunsheng with the last hit on that one is
They've
able
got
to
another. They have the Center Ball. If it hits Xiaotuji, oh, bad guess. Bad guess.
One more left though. Yeah, or actually, no, he's dead. Never mind that. 100 gold going the way of XTD for that. Nice pickup on the courier though. Did the courier bring anything? Actually, it has Magic Stick on from Xiaotuji in there, but he has to go back to base anyway, so I don't think he loses too much from that.
He absolutely has to walk back. It's too dangerous to do anything else. Nice Light Strike Array from Super, but I don't think they can kill Banana here.
Oh, he has to be careful actually, because Sunsheng, I mean, he doesn't have any mana, but he does have a double damage rune. And that's going to be nice Light Strike Array, but it misses. And there's the kill, Rubik. Making it happen with a double damage rune. Lucky for him. In the meantime, King J forcing the lane back with a flak cannon. Also laying down some extra pressure on the tier 1 tower, so that's probably not going to be a very lasting tower here on this bottom lane. XDD getting some solid experience though by being by himself on the lane, and that's going to be welcome. Because he now has a Spike Carapace, and that can make a big difference in a fight.
It can. Of course, it's only level 1 so far, so only a 0.6 second stun, but you can more or less guarantee that Gyrocopter is going to get stunned whenever you want him to be up until BKB. So that's certainly a nice guarantee. But RStars, there's cause for concern in all the lanes, basically. Windrunner and OD are doing just fine. In fact, OD has gotten a lot of denies in his lane. That's really key when you're up against the Lifestealer. You won't kill him, and he'll be able to stay in lane. So the more denies you can get, the more sort of XP advantage you can get, although he is a melee hero, so denies matter a little less. In the top, I think XTT is doing pretty well as well, although he's falling a little bit behind where Moo is. But this bottom is really bad. I mean, Xiaotuji has 5 last hits to the 25 that King J has.
Yeah, basically the only lane that they're kind of winning is the mid lane, Air. And even he is not winning as convincingly as you might hoped for an OD to do. And that means that 2 of the lanes, one is a loss on the bottom lane, I think we can call it that. And the Windrunner is doing as a Windrunner should, so, I mean, it's not really a win, but calling it a loss is not really something like I want to use either, but yeah, they're going to be having to step it up, and we are needing some rotation, I think, coming up from RisingStars. The question is, who is going to rotate? Like, OD needs to probably get some more farm. Windrunner might be able to make something happen. Should TongFu overextend? But they first have to do that, and that's going to be tough.
Moo wants to gank mid. This is,
well, wait a second. Xiaotuji will actually go down here. Ends up almost denying himself. Gyrocopter goes down with him. Lina coming in with the Dragon Slave, picking him up. In the meantime, mid lane, like you said, Air actually goes down. Moo with the haste rune, roaming mid, and getting a kill together with How. So even though Air was actually doing quite nice in the mid lane, I think we can call that mid lane now also going the way of TongFu.
Yeah, nice play by Moo there, just using that haste rune very well. So that secures, I wouldn't say that they've necessarily won this mid lane yet, but How is certainly doing very well. And this Lifestealer tactic is definitely a strong one to try to deal with the OD. You won't actually stop the OD unless somebody like Moo rotates to gank, but you will still be able to get your XP. And 3 lanes worth of farm, 3 lanes worth of experience is something that TongFu are going to be extremely happy getting.
Yeah, we've got Moo. He took a lot of harassment, but he had a self, so he's going to use it. And, I mean, he is sitting at level 8, while Windrunner is sitting at level 6. That's a big difference. And even though Windrunner still has 28 last hits, the level difference can be pretty painful. And in terms of levels overall, I mean, Puck is the highest level on the map with level 8. But the supports of RisingStars, and not even supports, what am I saying? The supports and alchemists of RisingStars, they're sitting at level 4 and 5. And that's really not somewhere where you want to be. You need your Alchemist to have that level 6 as fast as possible, because he needs to have his Chemical Rage to survive against this tough trialing that he's up against. And he's not getting it that fast.
I feel TongFu right now are just showing a bit of a superior strategic approach to this game in general. Like, there's actually not that much that RisingStars can do to generate space for this Alchemist. The main thing would be trying to get XTT involved, and I'm interested that they haven't done so yet. There's maybe a shackle or two in this lane, or at least the threat that you might shackle it would at least make TongFu think twice about just, you know, farming the entire jungle and bullying them under their tower constantly.
Yeah, and talking about that, they actually roam into the jungle, already placed a sentry ward of the newly placed observer. And of course, that's very important early game. They don't really have that many observers to place. They're not really getting any extra gold or something like that. So it's an important factor to just make sure that RisingStars is playing in the dark. And maybe they want to wait for XTT to rotate on his Windrunner. Oh, wait a second. XTD, telekinesis by Carapace is going to be there though. Cooldown coming down as well, and it's actually King J that drops. XTD keeping himself up. And that's going to be a kill going the way of RisingStars, something that I think could have been prevented.
Well, more like, it was really just backfired on TongFu there. That was a fight that they took, basically. They elected to try to get that kill, and it does backfire. I mean, you mentioned the spiked Carapace. It is certainly nice to be able to stun Gyrocopter whenever and wherever you want, and he just sits in the flat cannon, takes the hit, stuns Gyro, follows it up with Impale. That was very nice. I don't know how much room it buys them, but any amount of room is critical.
Yeah, of course the experience pretty critical, as well as how is going to be feeling some pain here. Oh, never mind. That's a kill. Sanity's Eclipse.
Once you run him out of mana completely, you can do things like that. Yep. Very nicely done.
He used his stick charge before doing that, by the way. Air, yeah. Dream Coil is there. In comes Moo, and down goes Air. Moo with the last hit. Bandana, of course, was there to harass him as well, but a Dream Coil, of course, to finish it up. In the meantime, on the bottom lane, King J goes down again. Alchemist with a kill. Second kill of the game. He is all of a sudden doing okay-ish. Or at least he's got himself level 6, he's got his Chemical Rage, and his survivability just went up tenfold.
Yeah, Chemical Rage, a critical pickup for Ulk. He doesn't have any ranks of Grievel's Greed yet, he's just in this pure clashing posture. And that was actually really neat play from RisingStars. Overall, good team coordination, like have Air. Oh, trouble, I think Super dies here in question.
I mean, the Rage is still there, but I don't even think without it, it would have still been a kill. How? With the rotation. It forces the TP out of the Alchemist, who actually goes towards his base completely, not even going to a different lane to try and get some farm, for example, on top, because right now, Moo sitting in the mid lane, House sitting on the bottom lane, and top left completely empty. It looks like XCT will be there again soon, though. XCT, who now got level 3 in the Shackle Shot, but hasn't really rotated just yet, or at least not to try and make something happen.
It looks like they're going to just give up the tier 1 tower. They don't really have access to their own jungle anyway, which is the main thing you want to keep the tier tower up for. And I feel that they don't think they're confident enough right now to actually take a heads-up fight. So it's not a give up you're happy to do, but sometimes you just feel as though you have no choice, and I think that's RStars' current position. I did like their team play, like Air starting to really bully How.
Wait a second, Moo, trouble. Vendetta was there from XTD, and the Dream Coil as well. You want to take him down. In comes How. Spike Carapace is still going to be there, but the Rage, How doesn't care. Puck with the last hit. Nice phase shift to dodge the Dragon Slave coming off from Super Still. And that is going to be... Ooh, that's going to be Alchemist charging up a stun. Just harassment. Okay. Duly noted.
I'm very interested that XTT has done essentially no rotation. He picked up an early quelling just for more last hits. I wonder if they're not trying to get this Windrunner to a state where she can somewhat semi-carry. See how 2G, meanwhile, running away, he just uses the, Unstable Concoction, generates the space to keep Banana off his back. That's great. But XTT is intriguing me, because he's gone this he is going the Force Staff phase boost, this is very typical. But I wonder if the logic isn't, I know that Alchemist isn't farming enough, so maybe I can pick up some of the slack, and that's why he's doing more farming than you'd expect.
Well, he is the highest net worth hero on the map for RisingStars.
Right.
So that is a possibility. He is going to run into How if he's not careful, though. How sitting at level 9, XTT as well, let's see. Oh, they see each other. Shackle doesn't latch, that was a bit of an awkward shackle. But How there for running away.
It was an I see you.
Yeah, exactly. Just getting yourself known there. Astral Imprison, by the way, stolen by Rubik. Very nice spell for him to steal. He can use it as a disruption to save his team, of course. And it's got a very low cooldown as well at level 4, so that's pretty nice for him. Of course, he needs to find target to actually Astral Imprison. In the meantime, he can't find him. In the meantime, Bandana, trouble, dead. No hope for him. Boom. Alchemist with the last hit. That was a Vendetta use once again.
As the XTT is going to take a fall. Nice Dream Coil. Moo honestly is starting to get up pretty scary. He's got his Blink Dagger, and he's been moving around and generating kills very efficiently. The good news for RisingStars, I really feel as though this Nyx Assassin is blossoming right now. It's a hero that's very level dependent early on, but now that he's level 7, he is preying on these supports a little bit, like Enchantress and Rubik.
Oh, well.
And the Gyro kill in the mid as well.
Yeah, that's one
How did they get that kill? Sanity's Eclipse plus Unstable Concoction.
Yes.
That's neat.
Pretty high amount of burst damage. King J actually already dying for the 5th time this game. Like RisingStars, they've got 7 kills. 5 of those are on the gyrocopter.
Yeah, and that's not at all good news if you're TongFu. And King J still, I feel, he's very good strategically on the team. I think him drafting improved their play a lot. But he's really struggled, both in their series lately, and here. I mean, 5 deaths, probably more than you want.
Yeah, I think there's 5 more than what you would want.
I'm trying to say this in a diplomatic way, but you can't die 5 times on Gyro on a team like this. They do have the alternate carry of Lifestealer, who's done quite well for himself.
And Hao is actually doing really nice. He's sitting in Moo for a while now, though, and even though Moo has got a Blink Dagger, so they can try to go for some extra aggression, he is wasting a little bit of time if they don't get something done real soon. They are gonna go, though. We see the drawing on the minimap. They're gonna go in from behind. They smoked up. They're gonna find 4 of RisingStars. I'm not sure if they're prepared for that. Gyrocopter is gonna be there as well. They're gonna be there with 5 versus 4. You're still ahead, but yeah. No Sanity Eclipse.
Best damage will do a lot of the work for them. They'll be able to blow up.
There's the Blink, the Silence, the Dream Coil only hits upon Zautuji. As for Imprisonment, keeps him safe for a little while longer. Whoa, Moo, he ends up going down if he's not careful. Can he phase shift still? Needs a phase shift, can't phase shift, goes down. Shackle up on King J. Tries to do what he can, but is able to run away afterwards. In the meantime, we have got a 1-for-1 trade support for a puck. Not favorable for TongFu at all, and they're still trying to make something happen with it, but they are gonna have their Rubik getting picked off, and TongFu, unsuccessful gank is unsuccessful. How? Not able to make anything happen there with the infest out. Well, I guess he got the Lina in the end.
TongFu need to be very careful that they don't sort of over-aggress themselves into losing what is an eminently winnable game. I mean, I think they're substantially out on farm because of that laning domination, but since the laning phase, they've looked far less convincing. They're letting XDD level and find easy pickoffs. I mean, you picked into this in the sense that they always knew with Puck Enchantress Rubik that if they give Nyx Assassin a lot of space, he's able to make an enormous impact from the 4 position.
Yeah.
And I feel as though they're maybe putting themselves into that even more.
Oh, nice phase shift, nice silence. Moo, he keeps himself out, being quick on the fingers there. Vendetta indeed used. I mean, the XCD is indeed making a lot of kills happen here, making a lot of space as well for the rest of his team. Of course, Alchemist, who has been shut down early on in the game, needs that space desperately. They try to go again though. Infest on the puck. How? Gonna be giving up some time to farm to try and go somewhere. Perhaps mid lane again. Perhaps trying to go for air. Pings go off. We see a drone going towards the top lane though.
Keep in mind, XDD and Super are also smoked up as the Nyx Lina. They're gonna run right into each other.
Yep, hello. Silence, Infest out, boom! Dead! 2 heroes on the sideline, Lina and Nyx. Supports. Yeah, super squishy.
Puck, that was just quicker reaction time. Substantially quicker from Moo. Excellent phase shift, which of course is instantaneous. Do they get air?
That would be huge. They have the Centaur setting ready for the stun as well. The Shackle is going to be there from XTT to try and do something, but it doesn't latch. And air ends up going down to the Rubik. Maybe Zautuji in a lot of trouble as well. Or is Hao overextending right here? He tries to run. He doesn't have a rage at the moment, but it looks like they let him go. They let Moo go as well. Rubik is the one to end up dying. Tower helping out there. King J tries to pressure the tower a little bit with Banana. Stun getting charged up. King J taking a ton of damage. In comes Moo to try and save the day. The silence is going to be there. The cooldown as well. Rocket Barrage. That is one dead Alchemist. XTT and Super might be able to do something still. Super still has his Laguna Blade. Oh, Impale. Power shot. Whoa, King J. in a lot of trouble should he continue going, but it looks like he will be TPing home. Tier 1 tower mid will end up dropping.
Yeah, I would say Mu basically completely saving King J there. He's had an excellent game on this puck. 3-1 and 6 now. He's got about 1,700 gold on top of Blink Dagger. If he wants to go for Scythe of Vice, I actually think he can get it quite quickly this game.
I think so too.
The nice thing about Scythe of Ice too, it gets you a ton of intelligence. If you can out-level right now he's out-leveling Outworld Devourer. If you can build heavy int items just as fast as OD is building them, you get to the point at which Sanity's Eclipse doesn't really impact this puck at all, and he doesn't even have to get BKB to do it.
Yeah, we've got XCT picking up a Force Staff in the meantime, so he has that one complete. We of course already knew that he was building that. But then again, he died while he was building that. That was his only death so far in this game. And TongFu, considering the very great start they had, they are struggling to keep their advantages in this game. We see the gold graph still going the way of TongFu, but look at that drop back for a second there. I mean, it went back to the 2.5k in favor of TongFu, still in favor, but it's not something that you can rely on all too much by just going and go ahead in. Looks like we have Sunsheng, stolen Vendetta, nice steal. Central Ward goes down though. But Sunshine gonna be able to get himself out.
Outplayed. That was a little bit of an outplay from Sunshine.
They're gonna go though. Cooldown comes down up on 3. Dreamcoil there as well. Nice Eclipse. It will be the Lina that dies first. Gyrocopter with the last hit. King J getting shackled. King J looking to go down. Maybe he can still get South 2G in the meantime though. At least it's a teammate that gets it. Blink forward from Mu gets himself the Nyx Assassin. And a look for Air running for his life. 4 staffs into safety and should be out. Safe. XCT though. Don't think he's gonna be as lucky. The Force Staff is still gonna be there, but the impetus that is just super painful. Air. I mean, I really thought he was already out, but there we go. He runs still. I mean, that impetus damage on the Windrunner was just really painful. Come on, Air! Don't try to continue going on this. You're outnumbered. And you're gonna lose your tower regardless. So, well, actually, no, they're not even gonna lose their tower because the creep wave is all the way down to the tier 1. Here comes Mu with an infest, gets himself out of there. Of course, gets How out of there as well. Enchanters will be the one to fall here. Stuck around for too long. Overextension.
Yeah, but they mostly just lose the Enchantress. They get a lot out of it. Yeah. I think King J Bodyguard Squad is performing quite well, both at their jobs and at beating Rising Stars. Yeah. King J, is he still at 5 deaths? Yeah, he's at 5 deaths. He could easily have 8 deaths by now, were it not for the constant intercession of How and Mu and also Sunshine.
Yeah, and I mean, Rising Stars, they had 4 deaths in that fight, and the only one that TongFu lost was indeed that Enchantress at the end, and even though I think it could have been prevented, it's still not a bad trade at all. Open wounds, Force Staff into safety, here comes the Rage. How wants to take down XCD. Eclipse already goes down, that's an Astral Imprisonment. Saves the Nyx Assassin for a little while longer as Alchemist is just running around like a crazy person, not hitting anything. Goes invisible, but goes down regardless. Nyx dies, Alchemist dies, double kill for Mu. And 3 dead on the sidelines, 4 Rising Stars as OD dies to the Rubik in the end. And TongFu defend our tier 1 and get 3 kills on the board again. Like right after each other. I just said like they were struggling to keep their advantages going and instantly boom. Rising Stars. Just throw it all away.
Stars has used their early success, I think, gave them the impression that they were more favored in a 5v5 heads-up fight than they are. They also are chasing Gyrocopter around a lot in these fights. Not that last one, but most of them before. And in the meantime, Puck just goes utterly rampant. I mean, this Puck has been getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Not to mention, I mean, we said this Lina pick, having all these heroes that absolutely need to cast, makes you more and more susceptible to a big AoE silence, a big waning rift from the Puck. Sunshine almost kills himself with the concoction.
One power shot might actually do the job, but he gets the self and earn, so it should be okay. The Roshan is going to be taken though, unless Rising Stars can make something happen. The Dust actually gets popped preemptively, but Nyx Assassin is not around here, and Roshan will just be taken for free by How.
Yep, I would say TongFu now very firmly in control of the game. Because Rising Stars... So basically if you're Rising Stars, you had a very bad start, right? Like your lanes did not go well. The OD lane went okay, but not great. You had a death. The Windrunner lane went alright, but you didn't stop Puck in any meaningful way, and the Tri-lane went horribly. You have some success in early team fights. I think that's your opportunity to start trying to bring Alchemist in more, because Windrunner is not an effective replacement Alchemist, especially considering he's just going the standard Phase Boots 4-staff headdress build. So one way or another, Xiaotuji has to get pretty big before you can take these 5v5s. And instead they just put themselves in one or two too many team fights and set themselves farther behind when they could be trying to close the gap.
Yeah, I mean, look at the net worth chart. Xiaotuji, even though, I mean, it did go better for his team for a little while longer, he is still sitting on close to the net worth of the support Rubicon TongFu. His net worth, third highest of the 3 cores that RisingStars has, 4.7k. Highest is 8.3. It is really tough. And then you are an alchemist. Like, okay, you are any kind of core, that's fine. But you are an alchemist. Alchemist, he only got level 1 in Grievous Greed, but then still, he is one of those heroes that already counts of having that extra net worth purely because of his, yeah, you know, his spells.
Yeah, his Grievous. I think if they find Xiaotuji here, it's gonna be tough. He's close to the tier 2 bot.
Yeah, they smoked up looking for something, but...
Oh, they can actually pincer him,
yeah,
probably.
they can. He walked up instead of down. Might live to regret it. He does have the Shadow Blade though, so they need some detection.
He's dead.
Silence is still gonna be there, and that's gonna be Xiaotuji dead. The gem is there up on Mu. So Shadow Blade did not offer him any protection. This is also a tier 2 tower that dies. It's gonna be the first tier 2 tower on the side of RisingStars. There is a fortification though, if they want to try and fight it, but I don't think they do. I mean...
You can't fault Xiaotuji for going Grievous last in this game because he was pressured so heavily early that he must try to use his spellcasts to not be useless, but you still have to have a transition plan. Otherwise you end up with basically a support Alchemist on a team that needs the Alchemist to do a lot of single target damage to successfully... Like for instance, Lifestealer. What's the plan against Lifestealer if it's not Alchemist dueling him? Like, you really need him to eventually get farm, even if he had a slow start, and they didn't transition into that.
Yeah, look at Hao's net worth actually, not net worth actually, because you know it's on top, but his gold overall, 3,500. Which item are you expecting for him to go first? Like he's got drums, he's got face boots, and for Hao, is he still gonna go for something like, dare I say, race car build, Sanjian Yasha?
I don't think Sanjinyasha would necessarily be bad, but they could also just layer on damage if they feel like it. Kuras is very good with, it's good with Gyrocopter. Gyrocopter has had issues surviving this game and has issues surviving in general. To give them both attack speed and Gyrocopter some armor would be great. Another option is Basher. I think Basher would also be quite strong because Alchemist is still actively right now and has no attack speed items of his own. You can almost just lock him.
Yeah, poor Alchemist. Just getting himself a Shadow Blade, instantly goes down with it. And just trying to find farm. His team, of course, trying to create some more space as XTT has to run himself away from Mu, who has an infested lifestealer. Actually, he has a haste rune. Good luck running away from that one. He is running quite far into RisingStars lineup, but looks like they are gonna get XTT regardless. And nobody coming in to help XTT. They actually TP out to TP bottom to try and stop the push that was happening, but the tier 2 tower still goes down. The dust gets popped. XDD gonna get slowed.
Great dust.
Looking for telekinesis. Sunshine, he does have the face for staff rather. Telekinesis is gonna be there, and that should be another kill on the board. 11 for 23. Ownage gets called. Hao and Mu join the ranks, and they'll go high ground. Dream Coil up on 2. For the two, well, support and, of course, Alchemist. But Alchemist will go down first, support later. The buyback coming off from Xiaotuji. What can he do with that, though, is the question. He can lay down Acid Spray, but that's about it.
Yeah, that's the operative question, Shiver, is what is Shadowblade Alchemist going up against Gem Puck going to do with his buyback? He needs to use it just to sort of warn TongFu that they can't just trivially high ground. But other than that, he's not going to get much other than start the farming process. Start rolling the giant boulder back up the hill, basically. And overall, I'm just not sure about the Shadowblade pickup as a catch-up mechanism in general. It is a great item on Alchemist, but it sort of implies that you feel like you can sort of start fights and take them. And other than that Nyx Assassin pairing, which got... Like, that got just stifled completely by that clever dust used by Banana and just immediately turned around.
Turned around and to get, well, actually they didn't get anything on the base. They dove got the kills, but they didn't get any tower damage out of it. A little bit, but that's not really name worthy. So in the end, I mean, maybe the buyback did force TongFu back and did get them a bit of an extra chance, basically, to keep their bottom lane in check. But it's still going very slow. Of course, the one hero that we have to look out for RisingStars is Air, because he is the one that has most farm upon their team. The downside is, like, you already have a life stealer, and
with Queras.
yeah, and you have got yourselves an OD that is already naturally countered by a BKB. Won't have the orb effect if you're in your BKB. Can't drop the Eclipse. Well, you can drop it, but it won't do anything. And then you have a hero on the other side, Lifestealer, that has a built-in BKB. Gyrocopter, who actually has a BKB. And it's just very tough for him to do all that much in these fights.
Right. Once Mu finishes his Sheepstick, his Scythe of Ice, which he will do right now as soon as he goes to a secret shop, he will have more intelligence than Air's Outworld Devourer. So Sanity's Eclipse will actually do nothing to him at that point. He's done with it. Air is going BKB. I can't fault him for that choice. I think it makes perfect sense against the puck. But you're facing a situation in which you don't have that huge AoE damage is at least not going to clip one person. And overall, TongFu had a bit of a weird transition from the early into the mid game. But in this mid game, they've dominated. They've played extremely well. I like this almost try aggressive core hero approach they're taking. I think it gives King J something to do, and that's very good for a team that has two very aggressive core players in Mu and Hao, and is still trying to, in my opinion, put that together into an unstoppable 5-man force.
Yeah, and TongFu is already setting up for a possible next fight. Mu having an infested Lifestealer in him, and RisingStars just waiting for perhaps pending doom, or for, of course, the right opportunity to make a comeback. Because that's something you always have to have in mind. How can they initiate? How can they turn this fight in their favor? And the fight will happen. At least the tier 2 will die. That's the last tier 2 standing. There we go. Telekinesis. Super is going to be the first target. Astral Imprisonment keeps him safe. How
Nice
long,
Astral.
you ask? Not all too long. Actually, force tap into safety. Whoa, that impetus is hurting. And they Dream Coil, they go for Air and don't see him anymore. Actually, there he is, was a bit awkward there. Air running away, will be able to do so. In the meantime, that's a ton of damage coming off on TongFu, and King J, he is about to drop. He didn't even use his BKB that fight. Windrunner with a double kill, XTT making it happen. Banana, Trouble, doesn't have a heal, will just try to take down the Alchemist, but won't go down himself. Hao with a double kill as well, gets himself the Alchemist in the end. And he invests into a creep to get himself out of the base, but this fight, I mean, it's 3-on-3. It went a lot better for RisingStars than I was expecting it to go.
Incredibly bloody fight overall.
Yeah.
Very nice play by Nyx Assassin again. TongFu ended up somehow extremely clubbed up. Like, if I didn't know better, obviously there's no Darkseer in the game, but they were so close it felt like they were almost vacuumed together. And that's an area in which Nyx Assassin shines, because now that he has almost maxed Spiked Carapace, almost maxed Impale, he can really just disable the whole team for 4.5 seconds if they end up in that position. So a good fight for RisingStars, I think, overall. They do manage to defend their tier 3. In fact, it takes a whopping 0 damage during that entire altercation. And I think that lets them, I mean, breathe a sigh of relief, at least temporarily. And they're actually pinging Roche, so in 1 minute we may have our next fight there.
I misclicked on the side screen. I have to say, I accidentally banned Calicot. Oopsie.
Banned Calicot?
I banned Calicot, and I can because apparently I'm the thingy. Let's unban.
That's not very nice.
No, it was a misclick. Like, you have,
Sure
as a
was.
broadcaster slot, you move your mouse and you can go to the other side of the screen thing. So, you know, that happened. Awkward.
I have to say, I really like Banana's play this game. I feel like TongFu's supports are some of the, probably one of the least well-known support pairs. Because TongFu are a team that relies very heavily on the all-out play of their core heroes, you don't often see people talking about either Sunshang or Banana, but Banana's Enchantress play this game was very, very good. It's a little harder going into that Radiant jungle and making a huge impact than it is with Dire, but the combination of the ward and just constant sending the creeps in behind the tower and pressuring was very, very good. And he's had a good game since then as well. Getting, I think, fairly close to his Ags. What's his Ag status? Well, still about 1400, but that's not bad.
Well, I actually think, like, that 1400 gold he'll probably get in the next push, but I think that TongFu, with that Aegis, can just end the game. Depending on how well positioned their team fight is. And again, I mean, previous fight as well, they go in and they want to take kills, but in the meantime the tier 3s are just still standing strong, and maybe they should try to go for towers at some point once they force RisingStars back, but we'll see how well coordinated they are this time.
I agree. I think assuming decent execution. Ah, they spotted them. That's nice. But King J now has Aegis and BKB and Demon Edge. He's actually caught up very well as far as farm goes. Now the highest last hitter in the game. He's got the second highest net worth. This gyrocopter is now very scary, and they've got 3 extremely scary core heroes combined with an enchantress that's been doing work. It's going to be an extremely difficult fight for RisingStars, and it's one that they absolutely have to win, otherwise they get closed out of the game.
Yeah, invest out for a move, so kinda says that TongFu tired of waiting. That's gonna be the MKB ready. Maybe they wanted to wait for that before going in on that. Shackle latches. Are they going to go in on that? Oh, Hex up on XTD. Telekinesis there as well. XTD. No spike carapace this fight. BKB turned on by King J. Flak cannon. Gonna force everybody back of RisingStars. Fortification is still there for the buildings, but this time they'll just go for it. No chases in the base. Still unstable concoctions, and Sheng, you're gonna go down. Or at least you're gonna stun yourself.
That's fine, honestly. Keep in mind, their unstable concoctions are actually stronger than RisingStars' unstable concoctions because of the 10 armor difference caused by the Assault Cross.
Oh, yeah. That's true. Tier 3 tower goes down, blinking from Moot. Dreamcoil up on 2 air is gonna be the first one to drop here. Force taps himself into safety, but ends up going down anyway. XTTs are 2G. Oh my god, that flak cannon! King J ultra kill! And that's gonna be buyback upon buyback. Windrunner is back. OD is back. People attack Rax. Infest out, go for XTD. That's also okay. Can take him down.
I told you they're a Western team.
They are, it looks like they are. XTT gonna try to do something to Enchantress, but nope, not gonna be successful. How is at least gonna be the sane one. Gonna attack the Rax. GG's got called. TongFu take their first game in Group B. Of course, you are watching the RedBull Esports Challenge Championship League. RedBull. I say it again. I mean, of course, Red Bull. Why did you not correct me?
I was just sitting in shock.
Oh, crap.
Because they do sound pretty similar, but yes, it is the RedBull ECL Esports Champions League LAN event in Beijing at the, I think, Chinese Esports Arena, which is a venue I'm not familiar with, but I think it's relatively new, and that's why they're still working out some of the kinks with the computer setups, etc., etc. We are a little bit behind schedule, but I believe the next game is RStars versus lgd.int.
Yes.
Which should also be interesting. They might have a little more luck than they did with TongFu. I just feel that TongFu had an odd game after the laning phase, but then they turned it around, and they were very, very strong sort of from the mid-game onwards. I really feel that this is a team that has tremendous potential. When they're looking good, I almost feel like they have the most potential out of any of the Chinese teams, but only fitful this game, but we'll have to see how they do in Group B.
Yeah, and this is the wrong throne exploding, but that's because TongFu was disconnected before RisingStars. And you said a little bit delay. It's actually quite a lot. It's starting to get quite a lot delay, but we'll see how long it takes before the next game starts. Like you said, RisingStars, lgd.int. I think RisingStars indeed has a bit of a better chance to take them down rather than TongFu. But we'll see them in the next game. Stick around. Of course, this is Beyond the Summit broadcast. With me is Vikermont. He's my co-caster. You can follow him on Twitter. Can you plug your own Twitter? Because you probably spell it out and I can't.
Yes. Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, and my own website, VYKROMOND. You can Google and see it.
Yes, cool. And of course, you can follow me myself on Shiver Gaming on Twitch, YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, website, all that stuff. But yeah, we're gonna jump ourselves into the next game, hopefully very fast. So stick around, and we'll be right back.